welcome and good afternoon. Thanks for joining our live presentation of a quick estimation rundown in Bluebeam Revu. While we're waiting for the last people to click their links and join us here, we are going to have a short introduction, quick look at the things we are going to do today. As said, this is a quick estimation rundown, and during the next 25 to 30 minutes we're going to have a look at applying a scale or doing a document calibration to make sure all your measurements have kind of the right measurement. Then we are going into looking at the length and area measurement, which are the most important or the most used measurement tools in Revu. Lastly, we're going to do something a little bit special, having a look at the dynamic fill, which is a tool that I don't see in active use very often during my trainings. So I thought I'm going to give you a quick overview of what it can do to get you started in using it. And lastly, we're going to talk about the Markups List, looking into, well, what to do with your measurements, how to export them to an Excel spreadsheet, or kind of get an idea of what the Markups List can do for you and how it can save you loads of time. If you have any questions, or rather for any questions about Revu or software in the architectural field in general, don't hesitate contacting Chris Wilcox at chris@brightergraphics.com, and for more and general information visit our website at www.brightergraphics.com. I'm going to show this particular sheet again at the end of our presentation, just in case you didn't catch it yet. And now we're going to open a very simple drawing. As you can see, I'm already in Revu. Just closing the presentation mode and going to open a very simple drawing, very simple floor drawing, very simple apartment that we're going to work with today. First thing, when you want to start, when you're starting an estimation, the first thing you want to do is you want to calibrate your document, meaning you want to tell Revu what. Let's go over here. You want to tell Revu the exact scale of your drawing so it can get all the measurements right. There is different ways to scale your document. We're just going to have a quick look at one of them today. For more information, as already said, you're more than welcome to contact Chris Wilcox anytime and ask for our training offerings. Okay. The easiest way to calibrate your document or to set the scale is if you already know it. So if your architect was kind enough to leave a note anywhere on the document or simply tell you what the scale of the drawing is, you can enter it here in those 4 form fields. Just going to show that very quickly. Let's assume that's millimeters and centimeters. So you could, for example, tell Revu that 1 millimeter, say 10 millimeter on the drawing equals 2 meters in the real world, and as you can see, that's the scale you applied. If you don't know the scale, the second way to actually get to that is to pick one measurement in the drawing that you already know and go from there. Let Revu calculate the scale of the drawing based on that one single measurement. So I'm going to click on calibrate, just ignore that text box and pick one measurement, for example the width of this door. I'm going to click twice on the left and right hand side of that door, and in the next window tell Revu the thing I just measured is 1 meter wide, and based on that measurement, as you can see, Revu applies a scale. I seem to have misclicked there because it should be 10 millimeters equals 1 meter. In regard of the measurement tools, well, as I said, as soon as you're done calibrating your document, as soon as the scale is set, you can start measuring. and you do that by simply picking your measurement tool right here from the list of tools on top of your measurements panel, or you select your measurement tools from Tools, Measure, and simply click on it here respectively. If you have a look at all the drop down menus in Revu, if there is an existing keyboard shortcut to a specific tool, you see it shown here on the right hand side of each menu, and if you want to change your keyboard shortcuts, simply click on Revu Keyboard Shortcuts and you can assign your own shortcuts. Let's get back to our measurements. To take measurements, you simply click on the tool and then click in your document to the places, or select the things in your document that you want to measure. In case of the first tool, we're going to look at the measurement tool, the length measurement tool. That is relatively simple. You click on point A, click on point B, and as you can see, Revu has taken a measurement of 7 meters and 9 centimeters here, which is nice. I'm just going to place 2 more measurements in here, just arbitrary ones, just to have some measurements on here for when we take a look at the markups list later. So when you did your measurement after, wrong sentence, stupid sentence, I always do that. I always start a sentence and then run in a completely different direction. When you've done your measurements, or after doing your measurements, now I've got it right, after doing your measurements, you can select each single one of them and select a few different options regarding color or thickness of lines, or if you want to have those little arrows on both sides or not, and you do all that in 2 different places. First and easily to reachable place is the properties bar, the dynamic properties bar here on top. Depending on what you select on your document, this bar's look changes and you get different options. As in case of our measurements, as said, you've got the line color, you've got the line thickness, even line styles like dotted lines, for example. You can set different, I'm going to zoom in here, you can see that a little bit better. You can select different arrowheads or delete the arrowheads completely. You can choose different fonts and font styles for the writing that's on the line, and well, lots of different things. The second place where you can find options for your measurements, properties of the measurements, is on the left hand side in the toolbar in your properties panel. So simply click on properties, and as you can see, you've got a whole long list of things, of settings that you can adjust in regard of your measurement. We are not going to go into too much detail today, just know where they are, and again, if you have any questions, let Chris know and book us for an additional training session if you're interested. Okay, that is basically how you use the length measurement tool. Just click point A, click point B, and work your way through the document. Second most used measurement tool is the area measurement. It basically works exactly the same way, but it has 2 different, well, let's say use modes or use cases. The first one is to measure a simple rectangular area. To do that, you simply select the tool, again either here directly from your measurements panel, or you click on Tools, Measure, and select the area measurement tool. Just going to click on it, cursor changes. And if you wish to simply measure a rectangular area like this little cupboard here, you hold your mouse button and simply drag open a rectangle. As you can see, this is 1.6 square meters. I'm just going to do that again. I click, hold and drag to measure a rectangular area, and I get 0.6 square meters over here. Second use case, or second way to use this measurement, is that you don't have a strictly rectangular area. Like, I think that down here, this is the bathroom, so if I want to measure this bathroom with this extra corner in it, I again select the area measurement tool, but instead of clicking and holding my mouse button and dragging, I just click on each corner of the measurement I want to take. I click in each corner once, double click in the last corner to close the measurement, and I've got 4.25 28 square meters for this bathroom. Not sure if that's a large bathroom, but well, that's not the point of our presentation today, so I'm going to think about something else while I'm going to take a different area measurement. I'm going to measure the kitchen down here as well. That is a little bit bigger, that's nice. Okay, as with the length measurement, you've got a whole lot of options, a whole lot of settings for your area measurements as well. So I'm going to select this measurement, or I'm going to use the Shift key actually, the Shift key, and click on several measurements to select all of them at once, and every property I change will apply to all those measurements then. So I'm going to color these areas in blue and select highlight to make them see-through, half transparent, so I can see the actual drawing behind it. That's this little highlight button here. As you can see, when I switch that highlight button, when I tick that box on and off, you can see the doors or can't see the doors. So you can make those measurements with the highlights tick box. You can make your measurements half transparent, and the drawing basically shine through the actual shine through the areas that you have colored. Okay, that's two of our measurement tools. Let's have a quick look at time. Yeah, that looks wonderful. We're good on time today, which is a rarity actually. Normally I'm either way too fast or way too slow, so let's congratulate me and continue with the last measurement tool for today, because that takes a little bit longer to get used to, a little bit more explanation. The last tool I would like to show you today is the so-called dynamic fill tool, and it is very familiar to everyone who has already used Photoshop. When I select the dynamic fill tool, either from a measurements panel or from the measurements menu up here, dynamic fill tool, there it is, it opens a new toolbar, the dynamic fill toolbar. Just gonna pull them down here on the screen. And as you can see, it looks a little bit more complicated than the other measurement tools. In that case, it's not a simple click and drag. In this case, you actually have to click a few times, but those few clicks are going to save you a load of time. The dynamic fill tool works similar to the magic fill tool in Photoshop, where you basically click somewhere and all the surrounding areas are selected until the selection kind of comes to part of the drawing. When the selection starts touching a drawing, it will stop. Just very quickly going to show you how that works. So you basically, if you're working with a dynamic fill tool, you usually work your way from the left to the right, starting with setting boundaries, something we're not going to look at today. Second thing you're going to do is you do your actual fill. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to click on this little filling bucket here, and you can see when I move to the document, my cursor has changed to a little circle. As soon as I click anywhere, the dynamic fill starts working, and the longer I hold my mouse button, the bigger the fill gets, and it only stops when it touches parts of the drawing. So I can, with a single click here, for example, fill relatively uneven and complicatedly shaped areas. Just as said with Photoshop, I can just click there and fill those rooms. Just going to fill a few rooms here, cover the doors as well, just to make sure that I don't forget to measure that area too. Up, so I'm just going to click my way through here. Bear with me 1 second or 20 seconds, however long it might take. This is a really nice tool, and there's a lot of options you can use, a lot of adjustments you can make to cater the fill exactly to what you need. But yeah, for this presentation today, we're just going to go into the basic usage. Just going to show you quickly how to use it, and then move on from there to the markups list. So once you selected everything you want to select, you move further to the right on your toolbar over here and tell Revu what you want to do with those areas, with those areas you have selected, because until now nothing has changed in your document. You haven't taken any measurements, you've just selected areas in a really quick way. As that next thing you have to do is to go on your toolbar a little bit further to the right and tell Revu what to do with these selected areas. And as you can see, there are copies from most of the other measurement tools. So you've got your area measurement over here, you've got your perimeter measurement over there, you've got polygons you can create, and you can assign spaces. If you don't know what spaces are, just ignore that button. What we're going here to do here today, we're simply going to apply an area measurement. And as you can see, when you click on the arrow next to the area measurement button, you can even select a set of properties for these measurements that you have prepared in your tool chest. We haven't talked about the tool chest today. That's probably going to be covered in one of our future presentations. For now, just know that you can select pre-prepared measurement settings here and select which measurements or which kind of measurement you want to take. You're not restricted to one kind of measurement, so if I wanted, I can click on the poly length measurement or the perimeter measurement as well and take more than one measurement with this dynamic fill tool at the same time. For our presentation here, I'm just going to restrict it to the area measurement. After selecting what you would like to do with the selected area, you simply hit apply, and what's going to happen is, as you can see, Revu is measuring all these areas in one single go. And since we have chosen one of the prepared tools, they are already labeled with flooring, ceiling, glazing, and they also show you all the measurements in square inch rather than the square meters you have selected. Again, that are settings that have been made in the prepared tools in the tool chest. Just as a quick teaser, the tool chest is located here on the left hand side. There's a whole tool chest panel, and it's basically a library, a repository for your tool settings. So whenever there is anything you need more than once in a document, it makes sense using the tool chest, preparing all your settings, and then just using the tools right from your tool chest instead of using clicking on the measurement tools here every single time. But again, that's something for a future presentation. Okay, so to recap very quickly, we've had a look at the length measurement tool, we've had a look at the area measurement tool and the two ways to use it, and we have had a very quick overview on how what to do with the dynamic fill tool, or how to use the basic features of the dynamic fill tool. We also had a look at the calibration process, respectively, had a look at where to enter the scale of your document when you start measuring. I'm going to close the left hand side panel now, because for the next thing I would like to show you, we need a little bit of extra space on the screen, and yeah, as it's quite an extensive thing. Excuse me. Hassles of a live presentation. You have to hear me drink and say every few words, but well, this presentation is free, so don't expect too much. Yes, last thing we want to talk about today is the markups list. The markups list is located at the bottom of the toolbar. If you have your Revu software on standard settings, here in the lower left corner, when you click on it, the whole bottom of the screen kind of drops open like a reverse drop down menu, and as you can see, it looks a little bit daunting if you see it for the first time, but it is an absolutely fantastic tool, because what it is the markups list is, well, to put it in different terms, it's basically a spreadsheet of all your markups and all your measurements in the file in your drawings. The markups list has loads of very interesting features, from automatic sorting and filtering to the to two features where you can enter mathematical formulas and almost, in many cases, do the entire estimation process right here in Revu. If you don't want to use Excel, or if you don't want to export it, you can again do a good part of your estimation process right here in this markups list. Again, it works very similar to an Excel spreadsheet. We don't have enough time to look at every single feature and to go into too much detail, but I'd like to show you a few basic things of the markups list as well. The markups list has a lot more information, contains a lot more information than you see here on screen. To get to that information, please click on Markups List, go to the columns, and then we can have a quick look at, or you can see how many different columns there actually are. I'm to make it a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing, I'm going to disable all the columns we're not going to use today, which are, for example, page label or the comments, the author and the date, because that's all the same today. There is not much we can do about that. I'm also going to deactivate the status and the layer and the space, and I'm going to activate the things we actually did measure, with which are the length and the area. I'm going to close that now, and as you can see, the markups list has dynamically adjusted to the columns I had selected. So that's the columns section of the markups list. There is, as you can see, a lot of things you can do with it, a lot of things you can see about every single measurement, about every single markup you've got in your files and your documents. Second thing I would like to show you today is how to sort the markups list, because that's a very simple thing we can do here with literally just one mouse click. So to sort your markups list, you simply click on any of the headers here, on any of your table headers, and as you can see, the markups list is sorted by this one header, which is a very convenient thing. So for example, I can sort by subject, and I get all my length measurements in one group, and I get all my area measurements in one group. And not only do I get a list of my measurements, of my single measurements down here, but I also get a total of the area measurements, which is 142.87 square meters here, which is very nice. Sorry, that's my length measurements. I get the totals up here, sorry. Yeah, so I've got this sorted by subject, which makes a group of my length measurement, gives me a total, and also creates a group of my area measurements, gives me the totals there. Another thing I can do is simply sort by color, and then have a look at the area. So let's stick to the length, because I did something wrong and some of the areas didn't actually take off here. So if I sort by color, I can see all the measurements that I have colored in red and blue, and as you can see, I can get the totals of these as well, just on top of those two groups, on top of the two colored groups. And with a little imagination, you can get a preview or a teaser in your brain about what's possible to do if you combine different subjects, different colors and different sorting mechanisms. And you can very easily, for example, get an overview of either one floor or the carpets or the tiles you are using in your building. You can get the length of either, depending on how you sort it. Very quickly with one mouse click, can get a total of all the pipes. You can get all complete totals of all the wall lengths or the perimeter of the walls, and all these things just with one, maximum two mouse clicks, by sorting and filtering after different categories, after different columns. Best thing for those people of you who absolutely love Excel. I'm not one of them, but I know it's a very often used software in our industry, so I unfortunately know how to use that. But for those who need Excel in their work, for those who want to export the information they've taken off the document into Excel. There is a very simple way to do that, which is the summary button here in your markups list. So you open your markups list, go a little bit to the right, next to the search field is a button called summary, and there is 4 different summaries you can create. The one we want to talk about today is the CSV summary. CSV means comma separated values, and it basically creates a text file with all the information from your markups list, and this text file, thanks to the CSV ending here, can be opened in Excel and appears in Excel as a spreadsheet. In the standard setting, I'm just going to click on that, so no, wait until this is done. In the standard settings, as you can see, there's a lot of things. You can select which columns you want to export, you can select different filters, you can select different output methods, can give different file names, select a file location, and well, you've got a lot of, to make it quick, to put it short, that is, oh god, I'm completely losing my language now. To put it in very shortly, there is a lot of options in regard of what you can do. However, if you don't change anything, the standard settings will create an Excel spreadsheet that contains everything in the same order, in the same layout you currently see in your markups list down here. So if you don't change anything, you get an export that is exactly what you see on screen in your markups list here. Just gonna quickly select that. So after selecting all your options, after selecting the columns, filtering and sorting if you want to, you click on OK and get an error message. That is wonderful. Well, the plan is that you click on OK and Revu will, I'm not sure why that's not working today, let's just skip over that, but in theory you click on OK. I think I did something wrong in my output settings. In theory you click on OK and you get a spreadsheet that equals everything you've got in your markups list. That is summary and CSV summary. It's not quite obvious because it's not called Excel spreadsheet, but CSV, think of CSV as a spreadsheet file. The second way, and I'm pretty sure I can at least show you that, is the PDF summary. Just gonna quickly skip over that, but actually click on OK and create one. Yes, that works. A PDF summary is a PDF file containing detailed information, as you can see here, containing detailed information about each and every markup you've got, each and every measurement, each and every note you take in your document. So that's a very nice way, a very graphic way to present your markups list as well. As you can see, it contains I'm going to zoom in a little bit. As you can see, it contains, based on the sorting and filtering you've done in your markups list down here, based on this sorting and filtering, the PDF summary as well contains totals up here, and then the list again is sorted the same way and in the same groups as in your markups list, which is quite a nice way if you just need to quickly print an overview, or if you're sending your estimation file to someone who doesn't have Revu, they can very easily see everything you did in this summary file. So just to recap that as well, you've got your markups list down here. You can sort and filter by simply clicking on the headers of each column. You can turn columns on and off under markups list and in the columns drop down menu, and you've got your Excel and other export options here under the so-called summary, so that labeled summary button. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you had something new. I hope you learned something new here. Hope you saw something that piqued your interest. And as promised, now that we're coming to the end, I'm going to open our estimation rundown again and show you Chris contact information, Brighter Graphics contact information. So you can get in contact if you're interested in either buying software, which we really like. We like selling software, so if you like buying software, don't hesitate to contact us. And we also like to help you with your software. We've got wonderful support, and we've got several support and training options that Chris is more than happy to talk to you about.